poos to your eyes. Wait, it's recording. Yeah, so number 2 video link with Scott and Chris.
Okay, I'm timing this, as you can see. Countdown 10 minutes, and that will be the end.
Wait, what are you doing that on?
Doing on my iPhone 4.
So it has other uses other than just a phone?
It does indeed.
Oh, okay. Is that an app?
Yes, that is an app that comes with the phone.
So this is an example of an application that comes with a phone?
It is indeed.
So we're looking at higher education in Web 2 world, and this is quite a big document.
52 pages, yeah.
Quite a bit of reading, and we've been asked to do a blog post that begins to document our pedagogical journey. And we've been asked to express our blog in 200 words. And of course, blogs are really neat things. You can now put videos which have words in them. Why are you smiling?
I'll start since you like making funny faces.
Yeah.
So we've had a read through this blog,
yep.
And there was a number of areas that I think need highlighting. And the first one that came to mind, or that I found in there,
yep.
was the 21st century skills and how these relate to 21st century employability.
Yep.
And they're a link between the both of them and Web 2.
Right. Keep talking.
Some of the skills that they highlight are communication.
Yeah.
And of course, that's vital in the modern age, and has always been vital to humans as a whole. Collaboration.
And is this in the key findings? Okay, keep going.
Right.
Yeah.
Creativity, leadership, and technical or technology proficiency.
Right.
And they talk about how these skills are vital to be able to use Web 2, but also a very useful 21st century employability skills as well.
What I'm trying to do is I've lost the picture of you in front. I think I'll put it down into the menu bar somewhere, and I can't bring it up, but we'll keep going. We're up to about 3 minutes.
Yep, nearly up to 3 minutes. I thought they were very useful skills that can not only be used for them in the program or in a course, but also will follow them into the work environment and workforce. I have heard a number of people say to me in the industry that I work in that, you don't need to know how to use computer skills. And one word for that is rubbish. I can give a personal experience of when I worked in the UK for a large motor manufacturer, that they had all their workshop manuals online, and this was about 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
And in fact, encouraged myself to write an assessment in which they were tasked to find a certain amount of information for various parts and so on, and talk settings and so on, from a digital format. And that just shows you how useful it is.
Hey, Scott, this part that I've scrolled down to says learner expectations. It's on page 6 of 52. And about the third bullet down, the second bullet down, face-to-face contact with staff, it's a personnel element in study, and that matters to students. And yet, if they're not in front of the class, how can we get it so it's more like face-to-face?
Well, I think the problem with classrooms is that you're there from 9 to 3 or whatever time you're there in the classroom.
Yeah.
But in truth, I believe the students actually learn more and analyse data more when they're away from the classroom.
Yeah.
When they're at home, they're getting their information and they're trying to write up their blogs. And that's when they really start to think and analyse the data that they have collected during the day and think about it.
Yeah.
If they had access to a video link, like we're doing now, only with a lecturer, but maybe with colleagues or fellow students, then they could have a face-to-face and or have more access to face-to-face than traditionally they might have had.
Yep. I think I've got you back up in the video square again. Technology, eh? Hey, another thing that I was looking at is, and this is on the same one, learner expectations, because really that's our main focus is on the learner. Imagining technology used for social purposes in a study context presents conceptual difficulties to learners. So how can learners conceptualise what we're talking about unless we actually show them? And this is what this bullet point, the third one down here, is, as well as challenging to their notations of space. So how do we know what their expectations of space is? Like, you're in Auckland and I'm 2 hours 150k north of Auckland and we're working on the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, it means that the classroom is not defined to four walls. We can actually expand the classroom to our planet, wherever anyone is, as long as we have connectivity. And that, and I've seen this, I can't remember what company did it, but a video of a student sitting on the beach in the sunshine with his laptop beside him, studying. And why can't we move towards this? Why do we have to be inside four walls?
And that's what that learner expectation, the third bullet point, says. It says they need demonstration, that's what we're doing, persuasion, and room to experiment in this context. Because if we ask them to do it and it hasn't been demonstrated, and if we don't persuade them or talk about why they need to do it, and the how fors and whatever, and then get them to experiment, just like I was doing before, because I lost the picture of you, even though we're recording it, the live picture, which I think is quite relevant, so that when now I'm in the document, hopefully you can see my mouse moving. But yeah, interesting, eh? And what about that next thing about, this is learner expectations about staff capability with IT?
Well, yeah, obviously the students expect staff to have certainly a reasonable understanding of how to use the various technologies.
Of course, because we're smart, because we're staff, we all have that.
We know everything, maybe.
We don't?
But
thought we did.
Obviously, as technology moves forward, the older you get, generally people find the harder to keep up with technology because it's a new thing rather than something that was always there.
Bit of a digital divide?
Well, yeah, that's where it comes in the digital divide, and that brings in another factor of the haves, what they call the digital haves and the digital have-nots. Now, that can be as simple as you've got lots of money, so you can buy a laptop, but I haven't got much money, so I can't afford a laptop. So am I then disadvantaged? How are we going to approach this problem?
Or is that like, here's another example that I use quite a bit, is that like, I have a cell phone, but I want one of these?
Well, it is. And that's something we have to look at and take fully into account is if we expect our students to have the equipment, how are we going to approach so they do all have the equipment and aren't disadvantaged by the Web 2 tools, I suppose you could say.
And then it's the students' practical skills with ICT. We need to harness them by staff to good effect. True?
Yeah.
Both for learning and for delivery?
Yes.
Because how are we going to harness this technology? We being the students. If the focus is on the students, how are they going to harness this technology to aid them in their learning?
Mind blank.
Yeah, because that's what happens sometimes. We sit down and we have to think about things, and we're modelling what normally happens. Sometimes our minds do go blank and we have to sit down, we have to have time to allow learning to happen. And it's not by 200 words, it's by conversation and by, hard stuff. True or false?
Yeah, true. That's our timer.
Okay, so I'll stop that there. Thanks, Scott.